Yeah. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay! Mm. uh, well, you know what seems to be coming up a bunch that is being mentioned to me a lot, and comes up in my own experience too, is that thing about money. It is so awesome. I love that. We use it a bunch for guilty projections, and making other people wrong. Like I notice when I buy something, I get like this really offended feeling when that thing doesn't meet my expectations and I want a refund. Like that fucking means something. Like I just noticing that these things are a habit. Just noticing these little habits that we do to make it seem like money is meaningful, you know, or in my business, when someone wants a refund from me and noticing how the energy that seems to be coming from them seems very defensive, like you better give me a refund because you fucked up, like that. And it's just this play that makes it like we're dependent on this thing, money, which really isn't anything. And the thing is, I can say that all the time, but there's still going to be instances where I don't see it because the emotional habit is so strong. And let's say my willingness is so weak because really it takes willingness to see through these things. We made them appear to be powerful by wrapping a lot of belief around them over millions of lifetimes. Okay. And before we even had the word money, we were doing this. We were acting like we didn't have everything already. We are acting like our resources are limited. So this is an act that we do. It's an act that we play out. I was watching a TV show, and the woman on the TV show said, "Hey, would you like to eat here?" And the other one said, "No, I'm not willing to go bankrupt." Like like going like going to a restaurant is making you go bankrupt. It's like as if these things actually mean anything too. Like it's as if you have the experience of going bankrupt, you're any less abundant. In fact, it takes a lot of abundance to make an experience like you're going bankrupt because it's so opposite to what is true about you. It's just such an opposite thing to what's actually true. Okay. So when we look at these things, is look at how we're holding them. It's not a matter of trying to control yourself. You gotta kind of take that control yourself thing and look at it. Just look at that, how it's trying to control yourself, like control your habits, control your thought, control your feelings, all this kind of control, and really, if you look at what is going on where you're reacting to this thing about money being meaningful and look at the feelings, they're really intense. We put a bunch of distractions up to keep us from feeling the intensity. See, and that's not a bad thing either, to put up the distraction. It's just a matter of noticing that they are distractions. That's all. See, so if you're noticing that they are distractions when they're distractions, then they're not going to have any effect. You're still involved in undoing something. It's that you're going one way or the other all the time. It's like you're either on a path toward heaven, and this has to do with thoughts, not doing, the thinking. Okay. You're either going toward heaven or basically nowhere, which is also known as hell. Because when your thoughts project outward, it's not going to anything. It's not going to anything at all. It's going to unreality. It's building an unreal situation for you. It's interpreting everything as if you're an individual, as if you're a separate thing in a world that's separate to you and also threatening to you. It just interprets automatically, is interpreting things like that. The self that you set up with the ego, that's what it's programmed to do. See, just automatically interpret things like that. So you're the awareness of that. So, you know, you can choose to see it or to look to the illusion for your answers. Well, this proves that, you know, you use things to justify an upset feeling. You know, like they sent me the wrong shoes, or they're the shoes that they sent me, they're saying they were leather. This is my situation. They're saying that they're leather, and I realize they're not leather, fuckers, right? And see, all this stuff, nothing's happening on the surface. Like there is no Etsy shop where you can buy some fake leather shoes and have a conversation and leave a review and all that kind of stuff. You know, all it is feeling. So when we're aware of feeling, we can just let the illusion play out of it as it does. Like, I don't mind if I complain about it or not. I don't mind if I leave a bad review or not. I just know what the truth is within that. That's all. See, if I'm not really capable of doing anything, I'm watching a structure of thought that I made work this shit out. It's like it's just being worked out. I mean, eventually it's just you just see that it's not, you know, it's not appealing. That's really what it is. I mean, take a habit. I think last week, maybe it was on the probably was an online one. I was talking about a habit that I have of and you know I say that lightly. It feels a little bit weird to say that habit that I have. I don't have any habits really. There's habits that belong to the structure of thought that I made. I don't really have any habits. I'm awareness. I can't have any habits. Cannot have any habits. Okay. So I seem to have a habit where I like to smoke a spliff and play a video game on my phone at the same time, right? So I had a kind of like an awakening through that, where I realized, wow, I am using this to actually build tension. You know, the whole time I'm focused on it in a way like, okay, I know this is good for me, whatever it is, I know it's good for me. That's what allows me to see. Okay. There's just so much built up about something like this. Like, this is such a bad thing to be doing, at least in my mind, from my perspective. I'm not talking about other people. I don't know what the fuck you guys think. You guys might think that's no big deal. You know, what's the problem? You know, and it was funny because first it was just playing video games. I was not smoking as I was playing video games. It was just playing video games. And, you know, that through that, I had plenty of awakening too. And then the next thing you know, there's no more video games and the video games start again. And then it's with smoking this time. So it's like, oh, well, how about this? Like, are you going to let this distract you and make you feel unworthy? And it's like, no, I'm not. It doesn't matter what it is to me. And I'm not going to do that with it. So anyways, in watching that, it's like, oh, and then getting a sense, wow, I am building anxiety over that fear of just waking up, because it's like I'm taking my interactions with people in a way like that's coming from me, like not holding them responsible or accountable or anything like that. Like, that's coming from me. I know that's coming from me. And irrespective of anything, I just I'm strong on that. So it's like things start to get kind of like psychedelic without psychedelics. That's the thing, you know, without psychedelics. I don't even feel any draw towards psychedelics right now. You know, I've had them in my experience, but I don't really feel a draw toward them because it's like I don't need the tight jaw that goes along with them when I'm already getting a psychedelic experience. Okay, that's at least that's what I've had happen to have projected onto psychedelics every single time I've done them. They come with a tight jaw. And I'm sure I give myself that projection for it to be directional. That's how it always is. Maybe different for other people, but it gets to be to the point where waking up seems imminent, you know, like waking up from the dream, and very scary. So this kind of habit like this is something that I can use to kind of build anxiety and still prop the world up. You know, it's like something I can see I can use for that. So once I saw that, I wasn't attracted to it like that, either the smoking or the video games. That is so fun. It's just either one of them. And it's not a matter of I am gonna stop. I don't know. I could stop both of those things. But it's not up to me. You know, but I noticed, you know, I'll go sit in my spot because I have a special spot where I like. It's kind of like, I sit in my spot. Like get a spliff, get the phone and play a video. No, look, I'm watching this show. I am not doing anything. When I'm talking about doing it, I'm telling a story. I didn't do any of these things. Now, that's the thing. People are getting associated with doing the thing in their mind and causing all kinds of tension projected onto the body. Okay, it's projected onto the body sense. There is no body; it's a body sense. So watching that. Okay, there's going for the phone. Okay, now there's glasses are on, video game, and noticing I haven't gotten past a few video games in one section of time, and a lot of the times it'll just be one, and it's be like it's just not appealing. You know, and that's the way I like things to unfold for me. I don't go for trying to make make myself into something, because what I've seen is that whenever I try to make myself into something, I'm putting a kind of pressure on myself that's holding me to the illusion. And that's kind of like barf, gross. I don't want to do that. Like gag me with a spoon. If I was from somewhere in LA, I forgot, some valley. They had movies about it. But yeah, it's just not appealing to me to go forward with any kind of trying to make myself do anything. It's just not it's not worth it. It's not worth it because it's an attack on the body sense. So I'd rather just watch the show and enjoy the show and use everything for healing. And then it is healing. Just use whatever it is for healing. That's the thing, stepping back from that judgment about how things should be. You know, your relationships too, you know, stepping back from that judgment about like how the relationship should be. It is as it is, and you will express as you are meant to express. And, you know, you're going to express according to the contents of what you think about yourself. That's just how it works. That's why it's a choiceless expression. Because it's like it's actually what you thought about yourself before. Just coming out. You know, you could just watch it like it's a show. You can see by your expression, like how much you're willing to care, to be cared for. Let's say that. I was going to say care for yourself, be cared for. It's really the same kind of vibe that I'm sharing right there. You know, it might not be the care for yourself that you might automatically think, but it shows how kind you will be to yourself. See? You'll take care not to project guilty thoughts onto yourself. And basically, that's a matter of watching the projecting and noticing that it is projecting. If you're noticing that it's projecting, then it's not having any effects. If you're not noticing that it's projecting, then it's having effects. And that can get kind of wrapped up too, because, you know, there could be noticing that you're projecting and also projecting guilt for not being able to stop the projecting. Okay. So it's like you got to see these little tricky little layers, and you know, the thing is, I say you got to see, basically that is, notice how you feel. Okay. When you're noticing how you're feeling, you're being open to another interpretation, and the interpretation keeps on getting clearer, as in you feel better. So that's when you feel better, that's a sign that the body's energy field has been released from some delusional thoughts, some strangleholds that were putting pressure on that sense, making things feel heavy. You heard of like the weight of the world on someone's shoulders. See? I was just chilling out earlier today on my bed. I was working on my bed. That's how I've been working lately. I just set up a little area on my bed and work, and I was chilling out on my bed, and all of a sudden, I got a trigger. I got a strong trigger. I knew it wasn't about anything, just a real sense like indigestion again, and strong sense of fear, and noticing specifically pain in the back of the knees, like tension in the back of the knees, and just notice, okay, stop, just like stop and feel that, and don't have to make a thing out of it. That's all it is. It's just super simple. Stop and feel that. Don't have to make a thing about it. And also, you know, anything, any expression too, any expression, allowing the expression to be what it is, allowing whatever the expression to be what it is. Oh, my tummy hurts or whatever. And you're just watching, you're not controlling, just in watching, that's all. It's super simple. You know, people are trying to get out of these feelings, but you don't want to get out of them because they're the means. And the same thing goes for your habits. Again, it feels so weird when I say your habits. You don't have any habits. You are aware of a structure of thought that you made with the ego to have habits. It seems to have habits, okay? You are aware of that only. And in your awareness of it, you're making a choice whether to believe that it's a problem or not. See? So any habits that you seem to have, they are perfect. They are perfect for your lessons that are coming. When you try to tell yourself that you're not going to get something, enlightenment maybe, until you take care of your habits, you make that a fact. Now, I heard from a friend kind of recently about hearing that from a spiritual teacher. She was feeling guilty about ganja, I think, or other psychedelics. I haven't taken psychedelics. She was feeling guilty about that stuff, and she asked the spiritual teacher about it. And the spiritual teacher said, "You're never going to advance until you get rid of those habits." And you know, and then she met me, and I told her, no, that's not the case. That is a guilty thought. That will keep the habit around just to prove that you're not going to get it. Sorry, you're not that strong. You think you're in control. You're not. you know, people put so much effort toward things like AA or something. You know what? It doesn't matter what the habit is, and it also doesn't, and it's also not a bad thing to find yourself in AA. You use whatever it is, you know. It's not, when I talk about things like that, I'm just pointing out kind of like the irony of things, but that doesn't mean AA is wrong. Like you can still listen to wisdom dialogues and be in AA. That's totally congruent. Okay. It's just the irony of this work to try to get, yourself better, but not realizing that even that work is building more patterns. It's building more habits, this habit of being associated as a self and as if you are in control of it. That's hard, you guys, to believe that you're in control of this thing. It's like, for me, there's a sense of releasing control. When a trigger comes up, there's a sense of releasing control. Let it take over. It's a really sick feeling. I notice it's kind of like comes as a wave. It started off as a little bit of a sick feeling this morning, and then more of a sick feeling, and then digestive discomfort for where I was like, shit, I'm not, definitely don't feel like eating anything, and then kind of like making that out to be a little bit of a problem, and just watching, but the thing is, the one that's making it out to be a problem is not who you are. You're aware of that. So if you could hold that in a nice space, you don't, we could hold each other too. But for me, I learned it for myself without anyone who knew how to hold me in that way. So I learned how to do that for myself, and I think it's really valuable to allow that compassion to come through without even needing the assist of another person. It's great to have another person that can hold you in that space. And it's also great to feel like really independent like that. Like you don't need that. It's not necessary to have that. So just in letting myself surrender into that, and it's letting myself as in it's juicy, and that's what I actually want to do. It's juicy there. That's where everything is. That's where all the action is. So once I'm like, whoa, I really got an intense emotion going on, and I went and I sat down and I had the perception of myself sitting down. That's really, I mean, it's a long way to say it, but or I sat down in a dream. I sat down in a dream, and in the same dream, I just started massaging myself. And then after that, I found myself in block therapy. That sounded good to me. So you see how the train of thought will shift according to your willingness to allow it to shift. See, if I was going to take the perception, because I had a perception, there was something that triggered it, but I just knew right away that thing was irrelevant. It wasn't that thing. It was just my habit. I saw the habit building from this morning, and it was kind of like a wave. It's really interesting. So I just let myself be in that. And then, I haven't felt like eating yet. And there seems to be like remnants of digestive things at the moment, but all the other stuff cleared. All that other stuff is cleared away. As far as the other thing, the little bit of what I sense right now, it will reveal itself. Everything will reveal itself. It's just a matter of time. So we just watch, that's all. And don't get all personal with it and feel like you're a failure because you're experiencing this thing or something. It's just nothing. It's all nothing. You stay from that point of view, that knowing that it's nothing. Smell the flowers. Make sure you smell the flowers too. Lori, are you ready? You want to come on? Now let me know when you want. Yes. Okay. Yay. Yes, I hear you.
Right. Oh boy, what a day.
There's no day.
You're right.
We just say that for fun.
Yeah, for fun. There's no day.
I know. We say it's funny because we get our actor turned on, right? We get our actor, like it'll
Yeah.
just automatically turned on, it'll just start going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, it's like holding that in like a kind of a comical space. It's not.
Well, when it's not on, so I realized today just how many facets there is to it.
Yes, you're seeing.
Different with every single relationship.
Yes, but here's the thing. It's all one thing. Because it's all just coming from you and it's all just fear. So you put it all, you generalize all of it.
It's fear of not.
The multiplicity is the ego's game. Like there's a lot of different things going on. There's not a lot of different things going on. It only seems like that. There's just one choice being made, and it's between two alternatives.
Wow. Okay. So there's only basically choosing between love and fear.
Yes. Yes. There, you know, we bring up these different facets that we perceive, so that we can see how that, you know, relates to different things that we're not seeing. Right. So it's like some of these things are not that noticeable sometimes, like the way we play out these energies with a husband and wife, like a husband and wife situation where there's this guilty money thing going back and forth. Right.
It's exactly the same thing. You and Tony, I swear to God, you are carbon copies. Everything.
Isn't that so fun? Mind energy attracts. So there's going to be something that's going to be really resonant, so that we can teach and learn.
Okay.
See. So yeah, it's perfect.
I can definitely.
So it's like a guilty. It's a guilty sense that you can't trust people, right? You got a guilty sense that you can't trust people. Like there's some mean people in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then there's a sense that you can be taken advantage of them, and you have been taken advantage of them. And your husband helps you with that perception because that's what you want. So it's up to you to demonstrate to your own mind that that's not what you want anymore. And in a way that is not challenging or condemning. It's just loving. It's just like, no, thank you to that. No, thank you to that energy. I don't subscribe to that guilty money thing anymore. And I'm not playing that game anymore. And you know, it's like you get that sense in your heart. You like feel that, right? And then it's just automatically expressed through you. It's not something you go, I'm going to go tell this to someone.
Right.
You know, like for me, you know, something like that, I do not plan it at all. And I'm even curious as it's coming out, like what it's doing, kind of like I am on Wisdom Dialogues.
So when I was doing my dialogues, when I was talking, I trusted everything that was coming out.
Nice.
And I've heard you say that when you go back and listen to your old stuff, you didn't really, you resonated with it, but you didn't really, it was just a belief, not a knowing.
Well, yeah, and it is a knowing for everyone. Like what we're talking about, we know it. We totally know it.
I
That's
think
what
that's
we
why,
all know. So we're covering it up. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it's just that it was more covered up for me in those earlier days, of course.
yeah,
And it's going to be more covered up for me now than it will be going forward.
right.
See, so that which I'm speaking to you, once it's fully known, I'm not going to have a perception of a body. So
So
as
I
I'm
will be
speaking
here.
to you, I'm learning it. And as I'm going through my experiences, I'm learning it some more because then there's application of it. See,
Mm,
isn't that fun?
that is fun. The application of it is
Yeah, that's where you actually take the illusion that you're projecting to the truth.
right.
Right, because like you're projecting, you may be projecting an illusion when you feel shitty after an interaction with your husband. You're projecting an illusion, right?
Right.
Whatever thoughts are coming up, there's all kinds of attack thoughts that show up. It's like a shitstorm of thoughts, right? And
Yep.
so, yeah, and so each of those thoughts, you take each of those to the truth, and like I can notice myself doing that, because like a thought will occur, like I don't know, I can't even think of one right now. It can't even pop in, but but uh, but I'll see it, and then I'll just automatically be attracted to a thought that says, you're projecting all of this, or something to that effect. Like just bringing that thought to the truth, because the true thought cancels out the delusional thought in the moment, and that kind of blows your mind. It also intensifies the feeling, which you got to be okay with. That's the willingness is.
Right. Because
Be okay with.
if you're hanging on, all of those extra thoughts are all amplifying that feeling.
Yes, and they're justifying it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, they are responsible for propping it up. And if you don't feed them, they don't have anything to prop up. But
Right.
they're really, really gripping because they're wrapped with fear. So it seems like you need to follow them, but really they need you to pursue them for their life.
Right. Because if you don't pursue them,
They're
the
gonna
life
burn out. Yeah.
one.
Yeah, they're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
And like the thoughts that are from the ego's thought structure, which you program the ego to be like this. So the thoughts that you programmed are fearful thoughts. They crave attention. They have to have attention, otherwise they can't live.
Right.
So they pop up and they seem like they're really important.
I like how you said on the podcast of how after the Blaze's outburst, how when you were driving in the car, you had all the flood of thoughts coming, but you were focused on the breathing, the emptying, that whole
That's right.
belly out. You cannot focus on those thoughts when you're doing that breathing.
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't prefer to. That's why I didn't have a choice in whether I did the breathing or not. Right? It's just that I didn't prefer to follow the thought. I preferred the breathing, and
Right.
apparently I allowed that preference for myself.
Right. Because at this point that following those thoughts leads
It's
to
meaningless.
meaningless. Oh,
Yeah, and it's an attack on your body sense.
definitely.
So, going through all this therapy, I've been doing all this block therapy, you guys know. And I was saying earlier how I'm no longer an affiliate of Block Therapy. I mean, they're freaking awesome. I love them. They don't want me to show any Block Therapy exercises and also be an affiliate. So I said I'm going to keep showing the exercises and not be an affiliate. But yeah, through that, I've been definitely uncovering some stuff. And it's like, I was in my private yoga. I have private yoga with Kristen Coyle, and she's like the most amazing yoga person I've ever saw in my life. Um, and and she gives me private yoga once every couple weeks. And she was like, we would have never accessed that stuff in this lifetime through yoga. Because things were so, remember I was telling you guys before I even got attracted to this, things were so twisted. Things were so twisted all around my ribs. I'm like, my ribs are all twisted and stuff. And then Kristen was always working with me with yoga poses, try to get this whole conglomeration right here all back, it's like this painful freaking thing. It's like this whole conglomeration. And I'm over there doing block therapy, not even anything really specific for any specific thing, just kind of like all over there's freaking pain. I'm like, I love it. And because pain's an interpretation, it's not even real. And I'm accessing that. So I just was like, whoa, I love that. It's just spiritual expansion. And then I'm finding out I don't even like need to do any yoga. I just like to do it for fun sometimes. It's pretty funny. Like as far as for my circulation and everything like that, it's like, wow. So I just been touching on these deeper layers of intensity that was kind of like locked away. And it reminds me of, stretching, when you're stretching and you have balls of this glued together fascia, that stuff, it's still alive, but it's like frozen and dormant and it can't even be stretched. So it's like we have these balls, small ones, big ones, whatever, forming inside of the apparent body tissues, which is a total symbol of these blockages forming in our mind, as far as we just go through the life and accumulate tension. And there's like all this tension in the body sense. It's amazing. And as the tension gets released, like I see more and more, whoa, I see what Eckhart Tolle is talking about when he says a pain body. Holy shizzle. And when you go through it though, with that awareness, you start seeing, wow, I can go through all of these things calmly. You start because you're demonstrated to your own mind that you can go through this kind of intense sensation calmly over and over again. And then when you find yourself in a situation where you're triggered, it's the exact same kind of energy. So the exact same kind of pivot. It's just like that. It's just like painless birth, all that stuff. There's a certain kind of pivot where you just surrender into the experience, and now you're no longer fighting the experience. And that's where all the teaching is. It's where all the beautiful expression comes from, and fun stuff.
Well, it makes me think about my sister. Ever since my first waking up in my early 30s, she labeled me manic depressive or whatever, because when I get in the high state. So I saw today that I am resisting that, because
Great.
yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
I didn't even want to say the word manic.
How cool.
I couldn't even say it.
Yeah, you wrapped around a bunch of fear around it, around that perception.
Yes.
And probably ever since you've been trying to change her perception, right?
Right.
Yeah, isn't that good?
But she was coming up and saying things like, because during the scamming thing, I was in a very high place.
Right.
Yeah. So then once that I saw through it, there was the depression. So she's now I'm thinking that I'm getting through it, and she's throwing up, what do you guys have in place? You need to have something in place to in case when this happens again. So because she's saying it's going to happen again, and I was resisting that big time, but I know she's me, and she's putting it there for me
Yes.
to see
Yes.
instead of resist it, to
Yes.
see that maybe
And
I
to,
do.
and to resist it, and to resist it too. So notice the resisting
Yes.
and get to appreciate that you're noticing the resisting.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that I saw that today.
Yay. See that? That's all it is. That's
Well-
all it is. You just, and the next time it's going to come up some more. It's because you're not done. You're not laughing at it yet. So it's going to come up some more, and you're just going to, the more you see, you're just going to be willing to open up. You kind of like open up down in the belly. Have you been doing that belly position on the towel?
Yes. Oh my God, but it hurts, Hope.
Okay, don't do it so hard. Only do it enough to where you have a nice, slow, easy, silent breath, but deep. And you heard what I said about getting all the breath out of your lungs.
Out of right down to your belly being squished.
Squished in. That's right. You squish it in. You suck it in like you're trying to suck your belly skinny. And
Yeah.
you're letting all of the air out of your lungs. And that next breath you will see is so good.
It's a expansion.
Yes. So look at that. You could use that belly position. You know what you could do? You could just lay right on the floor. You don't have to put anything under it. If that's enough for you to just feel that.
Huh. I
Or
didn't
something small, switch to a hand towel or a towel or whatever.
Yeah, I'm using the bath towel just like you did. Well, it's kind of like but I can't decide if I want it up and down or sideways.
Well, you can switch it back and forth.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really like the same thing when you're having the trigger. And so your sister's, making a comment. A lot of the times they're like these side little comments, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then you get a load of that comment, and all of a sudden you're in reacting mode, right?
That resistance.
You're resisting that. You're reacting, and you're resisting the reacting. Right. That's a good point. Okay. So then you can refer to your practice on the belly position, because that's exactly the kind of opening. Do you notice how you have to surrender to let it open?
Yes, actually, yes.
Yes. So all pain is resistance.
Right. Because when you're resisting,
Teaches you. This just teaches you that. You could just do the belly position. You don't even have to have anything else, and learn that. Because this is the connection that you probably need. And that's probably why you're talking to me. Because I'm on the same kind of, this is kind of like how I see really easily through that connection. And it's like every single path that I've ever gone down with regard to spiritual practice and everything like that, anything that works has to do with feeling for me.
yes,
right?
definitely.
So that using that towel and getting that belly release on a regular basis is teaching you how to deal with stress and tension and fear, because that's exactly what's coming up in there.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a tightening.
That's
and
right.
then the release
Yep.
is the breath, and that makes it open, which makes you open to see.
Yes, that's right. You're seeing more through that.
Yeah.
So you're not only getting an opening through the practice itself, because that's just the nature of the practice when you're approaching pain like that.
Right.
That's just the nature of it. And you're going to be seeing more. But you're also demonstrating to your mind how to be in a stressful situation where you're going to see even more, way more, when you're in one of your situations in life.
Right, because there's going to be calmness.
Yeah. Yeah. And as that's happening, your body's looking awesome. What a fucking win-win situation. And you know, your body looking awesome is all perception. So look, if you're clearing impurities from the body sense, what's your perception of your body going to be like?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. See?
Yeah.
See, even the bones respond. Even the bones do. Even the bones become deformed by projecting delusion onto the body and attacking the body over time. But you know, it's like we have, and I see this as one of those keys. You know, my mom was talking about the keys to like eternal life, really, as being able to see where the tension is and surrender there. I mean, that's really it. So everything that we set up seems like it's set in stone or set in bone. Set in tissue and bone. It's not. It's projected. It's mentally projected. And we're getting to the root of it in this way. Nothing else works. Saying stupid shit doesn't work, and everything we say is stupid.
Yeah.
Lori's all, yeah. That's why I say I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, I say a bunch of stupid shit all the time. Don't be like this with me. Don't be like worshiping and shit. Okay. I'm just sharing a process with you. You know, it's possible that I have gone through more stages and phases than many of you. That's possible. But that doesn't mean that I'm like something like, oh, look at her. It's like, I say stupid shit all the time. That is the nature of an illusion. And you know what? The only difference is that I am willing to hold that and surrender within that, and surrender within my reaction to any of the shitstorm thought processes about how I fucked up or anything like that. It's like, let me see myself fuck up and see how I take it. That's really the crux of the matter.
Yeah. That whole, I am looking at that scamming thing as the lava thing for you. I mean,
Yes, I think it's similar.
yeah.
I think it's similar because, you
It
know,
took me
in my situation, it was as if I failed by not securing some insurance before that thing went under the lava, right? In your situation, you failed by trusting this dude that was a total scammer. It's really a very similar kind of vibe. When it comes to situations, they're all exactly the same in the fact that they're delusional and they're just meant to bring up a sense that, oh, you fucked up.
Yep.
Which I love. Which I love. The, oh, you fucked up. Thank you. Get the perception of other people projecting onto me that I fucked up. Thank you.
So why do you say thank you?
Because it's giving me the sensation that I need to undo the illusion that this is meaningful at all. It's giving me the sensation I need. I project them there. It's kind of like I wrote the script for them. It's bringing up a feeling for me.
That it's even possible for you to fuck up.
That's right. And so I demonstrate to my own mind that that's not a fact just by surrendering to the sensation. Whatever is expressed to me is not up to me.
Wow.
Because of the way I take it. Remember, it's all in the observation. So it's because of the way I take it. When someone, I mean, right after the lava, I was talking with someone and I said something about, oh yeah, and I didn't have insurance. And they're like, oh, well, you're definitely going to get insurance from now on, aren't you? And I go, well, I don't know for sure. And they're like, well, you know, I would really advise you that you do that. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm just not in the life for that kind of stuff though. like to try to protect myself. I mean, I do like right now find myself having insurance. Apparently you can't get an SBA loan without it. If I didn't have to do it for SBA loan, would I be doing it? I don't know. I kind of like to play fast and loose. I just like to see where it's going to go. It's an adventure.
Gosh, that's no fear right there.
Well, and it's funny because I think a person would sooner not wear a seatbelt in their car than they would like not have insurance and risk financial failure. But when it comes to something like that, it's just, I don't know, it sounds so funny to me to protect myself from financial failure, because it just seems so delusional just even playing the game like that. The whole game really seems delusional to me. Even like running a business and taking money and all that stuff, it's really strange. It's really strange. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if it's for me for much longer. I'm not sure. But I'm not saying that it's wrong, because that's where the lessons come through, like whatever it is that I happen to be experiencing. Am I going to be experiencing it much longer? I don't know. I'm kind of getting the sense that it's fading away, but I don't see or any way how or anything like that. But that's what just makes me really curious. It's just fun. It makes me feel curious. So that's why I don't like to just try to set up things to try to avoid some financial processes. But it's like whatever it is in the moment, whatever I find myself doing is what can be done without fear.
Yeah. So basically, would you say that your daily existence is from the observer position?
For most of it.
Yeah.
For most of it. And I find myself going in and out too.
Yeah.
A lot of reminding, and noticing the feeling, and that's the reminder, noticing the feeling, because the habit is to just get caught up in a feeling and be pursuing thoughts.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, for me, I'm super delicate right now. Like it's like I'm delicate or something, because it's like I can't pursue. I kind of have to stay in the observer position, because the effects are immediate and they feel really strong. Like it's really like knock you off your feet strong right now.
Wow.
Which it's always been. It's just that there's defensiveness around it, and this distracting vibe too, where we try to distract ourselves, and that stuff kind of gets peeled away. I definitely notice it getting peeled away faster right now.
So which makes you more sensitive to
I'm
it.
very sensitive to it. Yes. I do, like, you've experienced some of that block therapy kind of release in the belly and stuff. I'm doing, like, yesterday, I think I don't know, I didn't count, but I'm guessing it was like 6 or 7 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. It's just like, it's like, I just don't see, at least all those hours yesterday, I didn't see anything else that was really calling to me except that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's gonna that kind of attention, that's a lot of attention too, that kind of attention, right on feeling, right on the body sense, right on the breath, right on the tongue being at the roof of the mouth for that prolonged amount of time, is going to make the body sense really sensitive. Or you're going to make the awareness really sensitive to the body sense, let's say.
Mm, I
So
love,
it's like it hits like a fucking brick over the head. It's intense. I can't eat, can't do shit. I'm just like feeling this intensity. So it's great. I love it. It's just like in the Lord's Prayer where it says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. It's like that. You see the meaning in that now?
mm, it's comforting.
Comforting that I'm getting redirected that strongly.
Yeah,
That's powerful. I love it.
that is powerful.
It's like, come back really strongly.
Come back. You're out there again. You're believing.
Yeah, you're out there. And that's the thing. We get out there on things, you know. I notice when I start working, and it's funny because my vibe is so chill now compared to how it was just like a couple of months ago. And you know, still it's like, whoa, I am just sensitive to that. Wow, I'm sensitive to that thought. Okay. Like I'm so much more gentler with people who it seems like they fucked up. I have a habit of seeing people fucking up in my business and being really emotional about that. And man, still I can still get uh these senses, and I know it's stuff that I wasn't able to even see before because it seems like I'm like, "Oh, what? I thought something. Oh, okay. And then it'll just be revealed to me. Oh, okay. That was a little bit and I didn't see it. So immediately I'm getting the effects of it. Physical as well as vibrational, which they're really the same thing. The physical is just like a kind of like a stronger in your face, like um, pain, discomfort, whatever. And I'm kind of like, am I pregnant? Because my period's hella late.
Oh,
So that's always fun. Nothing like popping out a pup at 50.
oh my God. But aren't you going through the change? Aren't you? It's
Who fucking knows, Lori? Who fucking knows?
it was so messed up for me when I went through that, the ending of it.
Yeah, it was like all different and stuff.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, that's fun. We project that thing out too, isn't it? Don't we? It's fun.
totally.
It's even the bleeding thing is fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. I projected bleeding like massive for holy crap for like 5 solid weeks of massive bleeding.
All the drama around it. So fun.
No, well, yeah, there was a little bit, but I there was not enough drama to take me to the doctor or anything. We just went through it and it happened the next time, I don't know, a couple of months later, same thing, and then never had any more.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just talking about bleeding in general, like just having a period, you know.
Yeah.
That's just that's just like some weird thing that we made up. And then people get dramatic about it, like if it's I need it to come. I need, like if it gets late, oh, now I'm getting bloated and all kinds of stuff like that. And you know, the thing is, that is one of those hooks too. And it's not to stop doing that. It's not to stop being dramatic, but it's to notice what's going on. Like you're using a thing for a certain effect. Using an illusion for a certain fact. So noticing what's going on, that's what helps to resolve it.
Mm. So when we think of bloating, because I feel like as I eat, my stomach bloats. So
Okay.
eating is not even real.
No.
So I'm using that
Yep.
to perceive my stomach bloating.
Right. Right. And we don't even need to eat too. That's the other
Oh,
thing.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really necessary.
No.
That's what I'm seeing. You know, I noticed myself today because I'm getting the perception that I'm not eating, right? And my weight's super low. And I'm going, well, it's not going to be easy to gain weight if I can't eat, right? And just notice, that's all. Not like you should, oh, I shouldn't say that. No, you let the expression be the expression. That's so much more easeful.
Mm.
And just like noticing that, okay, there's where, because this is habituated to make these things real. So in just in watching, that's it. That's where all of the healing occurs, in that watching with willingness, that surrender vibe.
Mm. Yeah, surrender vibe. Oh, I like that. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's right. So yesterday, one of the sessions that I had was, I think it was like an hour and a half doing arms. It was arms and um maybe just arms. Yeah, it was a lot of arms. Wow. That really, so much insights came out with that, because like as I'm going through the arm thing, which by the way, this is all soft now. It used to be really hard. I don't know if anyone else has that, where like the bone is sticking out and it's like hard, like all soft now. But I was doing the block exercises in my arms, and noticed them unwinding, and kind of like the grip too in the hands. The hands feel completely different. They look different to me too. The fingers even look longer. It's a trick. So I noticed all this stuff unwinding. I was spending like an hour and a half, so like 45 minutes on each arm. It's like getting under here, right here. Gosh, right here, it's intense. But anyways, noticing that's the symbology of that. It's this gripping to this life. It's like I've seen it in my mind, how we're all like we're like this, we're like breathless. Like in our psyche, we're like breathless, gripping to this thing, out of fear that there's nothing beyond it. Because the thought that we exist has an opposite. And we're deathly fucking afraid of that.
Right.
Well, it's like the insight that was coming in while I was on my arms, because of the gripping thing. And I could feel it in my hands, like my hands start releasing, and I can feel this grip release. And it's like this grip releasing in my mind, really, because remember, the body is a complete projection, mental projection. You're not going to release shit without willingness to release. Not even going to find yourself doing any of these kinds of therapies, right? Without willingness to release. So it's like, just noticing how we grip so much to things, like wanting things to be a certain way. And then also noticing, like just noticing whenever you go to check something like a bank account, a Facebook or any social media, to see if you got any likes or anything like that. There's not anything bad about it. I'm not making it wrong at all. If this is about looking, because what's going on is when we check these things, we're playing out kind of like a biological programming that we put into place millions of lifetimes ago, where we get a certain brain response when we get a reward, like for catching our food, for getting our food. We would get a certain brain response that would give us like a reward, like an attaboy or good job or something like that. So we're kind of like still looking for the same kind of brain response. It's become addictive, and we're looking for that, like in our things like social media, like checking our likes, for instance, on social media, or checking our bank account, or just like checking things with this vibe, this energy, where we want to get this brain response, which is really, it's a habitual thing, making the illusion more of a distraction for us instead of something that we can use. So all we have to do is be aware of that. We don't have to change our behavior at all. And you're aware of it as a distraction, you take away its effects. That awareness of it, an observation, awareness of a distraction as a distraction, it takes away the effects. But when it's looked at as a guilty thing, oh, I shouldn't be doing it, that's making it so that you can't learn from it.
Right.
So it has to perpetuate.
Perpetuating. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, it keeps it perpetuating. And, I wouldn't worry one bit about how long it goes on because it's all for teaching and learning. And if you're using it for that purpose, it's valuable. Whatever it is. I've even said before, you could be shooting heroin right now and hearing this and seeing the truth. Right? It does not matter what it is. It's just that we have habits of projecting certain guilty thoughts over certain behavior, which we can't help but perceive. Jeez. That's just mean. We all need some compassion now.
Humility seems like can be harsh.
How so?
After the scamming thing, there was so much humility. It was painful.
That's not humility.
Oh, that was
That's actually arrogance.
Oh,
Yeah. Because you're doing guilty projections on yourself and calling that humility.
wait, slow that down. Say that again.
You're projecting guilty thoughts. You're projecting guilty thoughts and calling it humility.
Ah,
You're projecting guilt onto yourself. That's not humility. That's the ego's humility.
ew.
True humility is you're not capable of doing anything.
Oh,
True humility feels good.
okay.
It's a relief.
So it's not humility.
You get out of yourself.
Whoa.
You get out of this self freaking belief thing. That's humility. You act like you could do shit and then you could do it wrong. That's not humility. That's an attack, and it's an arrogant attack.
Wow. Are you hearing the thunder here? We're having a
Yeah, I am. That's badass.
Yes, we're having a rip roaring thunderstorm.
Nice. That's
okay.
perfect.
I'm so glad you told me about that humility. I was so glad I brought that up.
I am so glad too.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, these habits of making things difficult for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like these habits of making ourselves into it's like, and that's making it take a long time too. It stretches out, it adds more time when you think that that's humility, because that sucks.
It did suck.
Yeah.
Or it still does
Whenever you're in it. Yeah, it sucks. So it's good to notice that it sucks. And then when you notice that it sucks, you notice that it can't be true.
Can't be true.
It
Right.
can't be true if it sucks. That's not the kind of humility that the spirit wants for you.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah. Anastasia said suicidal thoughts are arrogance as well. Just figured it out recently. Yep, totally. So controlling.
Where did she say that?
Anastasia? No, she said it to me.
Oh, okay.
And to everyone. Because it says and panelists. Hosts and panelists. I think if you want to talk to everyone, you got to click something down at the bottom. Yeah, you can say everyone. Like where you're going to type the message, you could say everyone if you want it to be everyone.
Wow. Huh, I don't see anything that she's posted. So, because
No, you're not a panelist, that's why.
oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, she would have to post it differently. But she just wrote it to me.
Yeah.
And
Um,
then I read it.
Cynthia wanted to be on. I sent her a message saying that Facebook didn't work tonight.
Oh, okay.
I told her you'd be posting it this week sometime.
Yeah, and then people can, if you guys have a link, you could send it to your friends who know you want to, when I don't go on Facebook. Yeah.
I didn't know
And
how
next week I'll be back. And next week I'll be back with it. It's just that I switched browsers. I know what to do.
yeah. She'll see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Mhm. What else did I talk about today? Everything that I said to you felt like such dilemmas. So I know they're not true.
Yeah, exactly. It's good that you say them to me,
Yes.
because then I can agree with you that they're not true.
Yeah.
One friend asked me if she would, if she can confess all of the things that she did in her past to me.
Oh,
She just needs to know that she wants to say it to someone and then know that she's actually forgiven for it.
oh,
Yeah, and that's just something we can allow for ourselves anytime, because nothing happened. Of course you're forgiven, and before you even say what it is, doesn't matter what it is, because
right.
nothing happened. There's not going to be a thing where it's going to be, oh, I can't forgive that. For one thing, I'm projecting it.
Right. If you hear it, you've projected it.
Yes, exactly. So if I'm not forgiving it, I'm not forgiving myself, that's all. It all comes down to being kinder to yourself all the time. Do you see that?
I do, which means loving yourself.
Yeah. So that always comes down to that feeling thing again. Because when you don't notice that you're abusing yourself, so many times you're not going to notice that you're abusing yourself, like with that humility thought that you had.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't even notice that you're abusing yourself. But if you're tuned into the feeling sense, you're going to get a sense that you are abusing yourself.
Yeah.
See?
This is what I want to be, because it's been either looked over or numbed.
Yes.
That's the habit.
Right. That's right. And we're so habituated toward these things. So, not being hard on yourself about that. The thing is, we're so hard on ourselves. We're like, we think we should be better, right, than this habituated thing. But shit, that's just exactly how it is. And that's what you need to learn through it. That's just what you made. So, you can't go forward without embracing what's here. That's the thing everyone's afraid to do, because it seems like something's wrong if we're,
Yes. Something's horrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not pursuing a way to do things better, for instance.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm an interesting person to have running the finances of a business, but that's how it is. So you see how valuable now your husband Peter's expression is.
Yes.
You see how it's valuable to you.
because
You can be
I,
thankful.
yes.
Right.
Same
Right.
with my sister.
Yes. So you can be thankful. So
Mm.
I, in my seeing that it's valuable and being thankful, expression is also allowed. Do you see that? And it's
Well,
not,
when you
and
think,
I'm not trying to determine it. I'm not trying to determine it. Remember you asked me years ago when Braun was behind me and he was calling me a bitch or something and he was crying.
yeah,
And then I ended up going, okay. You could see me kind of go, all right. And then I felt to pick up the computer. That's what happened. I ended up picking up the computer and going somewhere with a locked door. And you're like, how did you know what to do? And I said, I didn't.
it just happened.
Yeah, I'm just accepting whatever it is. God, I don't have to explain myself or anything.
No, just removed yourself from the whole situation. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yep, I remember you going up in the room.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, you just allow whatever the expression is. That's what keeps you in the moment, present, so to speak.
Instead of resisting.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's you who decides that your action wasn't acceptable or was acceptable, which is always bringing about its opposite.
Credit and blame.
Yeah, it's just not a question. It's just no question about it.
Right. Because it's knowing that life doesn't get it wrong.
Yeah, that's not you. Anything you perceive, whether it's your body or anything else, equally comes from you.
Mm.
You don't even have a choice in that. All of your upset feelings come from arrogance. The same as fear. It's just nonsense being taken as true.
Nonsense.
Yeah,
Meaninglessness.
that's right.
Hmm.
I mean, you might get the perception that of yourself, letting your husband know, I'm done with that kind of stuff. Right. But you don't need to try to bring it around. Just be curious.
Mm.
Because when you're done, you're done. But when you're not done, you're not really done.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm not done. Because I know I need it. It's perfect for me.
Mhm.
Not to me, for me. But so when I'm laying there, when there's an issue, it's the thoughts are of I'm a victim of him. And I
Mhm.
know that's not true.
Right. That's it. So you bring that to the truth. You just bring that thought to the truth so you can have that feeling.
Mm.
You get that feeling. Let yourself surrender into the feeling. Bring that thought to the truth. Bring that thought to the truth helps you surrender into the feeling and get the message. The feeling component for me, I don't know about for everyone, but for me, it is definitely makes the whole thing integrated. It's kind of like it integrates all the teachings into the experience.
Ooh.
And I haven't heard a course in miracles talk a whole lot on that, but I was listening the other day, and I heard one that I heard a million times, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
yeah, and
I
and it just said, how can you tell? By the way you feel. And I said,
mm,
damn straight, Jesus Christ.
The way you feel it, it's
by
a
the way you feel. Yeah.
release. It's a release, just like
Hmm.
the body.
Yes, and it seems hard, and your habituated habit is to resist it and act out a certain way.
Right. Yep.
So all it is watching that go down. The whole thing, the feelings, the thoughts, the expression. And you can see, and there's never anything to be sorry for instance. Never anything to be sorry about. You're dreaming. You wouldn't be sorry about your dreams.
Right. They're gone.
Yes,
Nothing happened.
exactly. So it's like you're in the middle of a dream and you're just deciding that it's meaningless while you're in the middle of a dream. That's kind of like lucid dreaming,
Yeah.
right?
Which I've never had.
Well, which that's what it is though, because this is a dream.
Right. True.
That's exactly, I mean, that is lucid dreaming. When you're deciding while you're still in the middle of a dream, you're in the middle of dreaming,
But
that
it's
the
not
dream is meaningless,
meaningless. Oh my
right?
God.
That's lucid dreaming.
That is lucid dreaming. I always thought of it as the night dream. I don't dream.
Yes.
I don't dream. It's
Yeah, well,
so
don't even, you don't need it. You got enough going on in the waking dream to deal with, okay? All that is a bunch more nothing bullshit. Be glad if you don't.
You don't need it. Okay, I'll be glad.
You got enough delusion in the one where you seem to be awake in the dream.
Right.
But you might find that you have a nighttime dream after this and you practice right in your nighttime dream.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but it's just like your willingness. It starts getting really playful when there's the willingness there to apply it.
Mm,
Apply the process, apply the practice of whatever you want to say.
mm.
Apply it to everything. And the only thing that's stopping you from applying it to everything is fear that but this one is serious. But this one is serious.
Yeah.
That's why I share the things that I experience, because some of the things that I experience, people would take really serious. Right?
Well, yeah, like when Blaze flipped out. I mean, like you said, like you said, if you were normal, you probably would have called the cops on him.
Exactly. If I was like a regular fucking person,
right,
right?
you would not have said, "Okay, do you
How
feel
do you
better
feel
now?"
How do you feel after punching a hole in the wall? How's that working for you? Fuck. And my husband's the same way.
I wanted to know who picked up the glass.
Oh, probably. I don't know. I wasn't home.
Yeah.
Not even gonna guess.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me. When I got back, everything was all good. Oh, there's a hole in the wall with obvious fists. Looks pretty awesome.
And the vacuum is
The vacuum has made it. The vacuum totally made it.
It made it. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Tony will be happy.
Yeah, it totally made it. It's all good. There's all kinds of jokes about that. We named the vacuum. We named the vacuum. And we asked Blaze to take deep breaths for the sake of Bruce, our vacuum.
Bruce?
He doesn't want to get his ass kicked again.
Hey, Tony must be happy because he needs his vacuum.
Oh my God. That particular vacuum, though, it's so quiet now. Okay, remember I told you the way Tony was vacuuming was like hand and knees with this little tiny tip, and he's doing the whole floor like that, right?
And it's bothering you.
So it was so loud. It was so freaking loud. I didn't know why it was loud, but it was so loud. And I went like that for what, 2 years? But I like to play with noise. Okay. I like to play with sounds, like that sound. And so it's like, once I was done with it, once I was done with making anything of it, all of a sudden there's a robot vacuum that's way, way quieter and does what Tony wants it to do. So that was the one that got its ass kicked. Ass kicked, but it's all better now.
Ass kicked.
It did.
Vacuum got its ass.
It got its ass kicked. It did not look good.
Oh,
So yeah, we got lots of jokes.
And Blaze is laughing about it too.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he'll get serious from time to time. You know, that's the nature of it, but he's learning and it's intense. He's having intensity, you know. And it's meant to be intense. The whole what would you call it?
Waking
Is it
process.
awakening, or it's this I want to call it a transition, like a transition period or something. It seems like a lot of people are just being pushed to their edge, and this is like really common, like lots of suicidal stuff going on, and just like domestic violence stuff's way up and all that kind of stuff. Because it's intensified, the energy's intensified in the sense, like, you know, for him, it's like he's been in college, but he hasn't been having a real college experience because of COVID, and he's got that thing, you know, and just all the different things that people use, especially, you know, someone like him, he does not want to know he's dreaming. It's very resistant to that right now.
Yeah. Peter too.
Yeah. So yeah, and Tony was for a long time, but then he came around on that. So if he doesn't want to know that he's dreaming right now, all these things are going to seem way heavier to them, you know, like he didn't get to all the poor me stories, you know. But we joke about that too. Once he'll go into a mode and then come back out of the mode, and I was like, you know, we talk about it like, you know, playing a little violin over all the sad stories. I don't get to go to college in person. I'm not getting laid. My business isn't doing good. Like, you know, you could write a country song about it. They love to sing about those things. And, you know, and he keeps on seeing more. He sees how he really brought himself to that kind of shackled place where he just felt completely trapped by believing it just takes going on down one negative thought. You put your foot in that direction and things get heavy. Okay.
Because more and more thoughts come.
That's right. More and more come that resonate and keep on dragging you down. So, you know, he's seeing more and more that's exactly the case. And you know, I said, hey, can you see now how, you know, people end up murdering each other? And you see how, like, your friend's dad, one of his friend's dad murdered someone. Apparently he's in prison for murdering someone. And, you know, he didn't premeditate it. He didn't plan to murder a person. He just all of a sudden was like, what the fuck? I murdered a person.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just like taking a step toward a negative thought and then just keep on going. And, you know, he definitely saw that. And the more we see, the more we become aware of. So I don't care about, you know, vacuums, glass, broken, whatever wall,
right.
Whatever,
you
like
murder
that.
Somebody.
Well, not even that. It's like I'm just embracing those things because, you know, when we project resistance towards any of that, all it does is exacerbate it. Right. All it does is exacerbate it. So, you know, it's funny because my perception when he was a little tiny baby, it was like I got the perception this is a murderer, and then I go, oh, I'm the perfect mom for that then, like right away, you know. That was like my immediate reaction. Oh, I'm the perfect mom for that then. And then it's like, because I can, and I could see it now because I can demonstrate that it's okay even if you're reacting in violent way. It's okay. All it is this. I can demonstrate all it is this, you know. So look at this, get your breath in that moment. And the more we go through it and and in that space with the compassion and everything, the more we all see. So I just bless everything. And even if it was a murder, that would be my trajectory. What I want out of it is to see it clearly. See,
Hmm.
even if it is that, what I want out of it is to see it clearly, because really in dreaming, does it matter if anyone is murdered? No, it doesn't.
No.
What matters is how we're using everything for awakening the mind. It's like, are we using it for awakening the mind, or are we driving ourselves toward hell? Now, illusions can get intense. You could get the illusion, a perception someone's murdered, or someone dies unexpectedly, or something like that. I mean, that's something that, is kind of like a given in most lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like anytime that pops up, it's not like you have to look for it or try to make it happen. Obviously, those are silly things that the ego puts out. But it's just that if when in a life, if when you get the perception of something intense like that, it's like, will the practice come into play? And
Mm.
that's like, are you practice? That's why one reason why I just like to lay around on those block therapy blocks. It's like I'm just like in my practice. I'm like in my practice like that. I'm teaching and learning for myself how to be relaxed and calm and open in a stressful situation. That's really the crux of the matter.
Right. Without having to have anyone else involved. You can do it at your
Exactly.
will. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like every time you get an upset feeling or a triggering perception, it's all for the same thing. It's all for relaxing within the stressful situation.
Right.
That's really the means. It's for awakening, but that's really the means of awakening. Relaxing within a seemingly stressful situation.
Mm.
That's what we're learning to do.
So as to not suffer.
Well, you are suffering in that moment. So you surrender to the suffering,
Right. Okay. Right.
right? You are suffering in that moment. Don't
Right.
resist it. Surrender to the suffering. The suffering even cannot hurt you. It never touches you.
Mm.
So just surrender to the suffering. Suffering is just like pain. It's an interpretation. Okay. So that will shift too. So I just like watch it shift. I'm like sitting there and I watch it shift, and don't try to be in resistance of it.
Mm.
But when I say it like that, don't try to be in resistance of it. It's like if you are in resistance of it, it's like take another step back and embrace the resistance.
Mm.
See?
Right. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the resistance to it is also part of the experience, and that can also be used. Nothing needs to be thrown out. The ego is not your friend. It pretends to be your friend,
Mm.
but it is not your friend, because everything that it tells you leads toward delusion. That doesn't mean it's your enemy either, right?
Right.
Because you set it up to do that. So it's not anything to be resisted either. You just see it for what it is, and then it becomes meaningless too.
Right. Wow.
I know. Wow. Thank you, Lori. So good.
It is so good.
Hmm.
So in a way, it really is a friend. Ultimately,
You
well,
can see it that way. You can look at it like you can look at it that way too. Nothing is really set in stone when we're talking,
mm,
right? But the reason I say it's not your friend is that none of its advice is good for you.
right. And it will come back and bite you.
Yes. If you follow it, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Right.
Like Bruce, our vacuum.
Like Bruce.
He doesn't like it when you're not getting a deep breath. He gets scared.
I don't blame him.
That was so sweet though. But yeah, Blaze is feeling good. He asked me to. He's like, "Did you talk about that on Wisdom Dialogues?" I'm like, "Of course I did." I go, "You know I'm not talking shit by now."
So he's become okay with you talking about it now.
Well, what's he gonna do, really? He's
Yeah.
like, "Everyone just thinks and I'm like, "Nope, everyone knows you're awesome
Yeah.
and everyone appreciates it.
Yes,
Everyone
because
appreciates."
it's healing for us
Yeah.
to
Yep. Everyone, I mean, this is the stuff that everyone goes through. This is the kind of stuff that everyone goes through.
and the
And
only
it's not talked about. It's shoved under the carpet so we can all pretend like we're okay.
one that wants to hide it is that ego.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because it's got to keep that game face on.
Yeah. I told him, I go, "Hey, you know what? It's my experience. I'm talking about my experience. I'm gonna have to be able to talk about my experience. I get an experience that involves you all the time. And it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, just yeah. Yeah, that was really that was actually surprising. I was surprised because he said, "Did you talk about that?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. Shit. That was a fucking awesome one."
Well, you can thank him for me
Yeah. Yeah.
because it really, really helped. That was awesome. I just listened to it today.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So for those of you who are listening and don't know what we're talking about, this is on Spotify and it's on all the podcast stations. You can look for Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson
Yeah.
and you can pull it up. And I post the in-person ones as podcasts. So we're not videotaping those ones. So
And it's May 20th.
yeah, you can listen to it's May 20th. It says May 20th on it. And you can listen to it. And that's 2022 in case you're listening in a different year. And you can listen to it and see what we're talking about, kind of like my experience going through violent and, a sense of a little bit of a sense of fear for my own safety too, which is really,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it was really brief. Because, it's kind of like one of those things just pops up,
Yeah.
but, that's because when fear for my own safety comes up like that, I just like really am aware of that. I've been in a situation before where it seemed like I was going to get raped and I knew right away I can't be in fear for my own safety. Otherwise I'm going to get raped. That's just how it goes. So when you start getting, in fear of yourself, it drives the energy in that direction. Like say you're walking down the street and you see two figures coming toward you and you get the sense that they're going to do something to you. Don't follow that. Right? I know that's not easy, way easier said than done. Okay, if you are following it, just being embraced that, oh, I'm looking, I'm following. Right. But the thing is, if you're following those thoughts, and if you do find yourself following those thoughts, you're going to be able to cancel out their effects too. If you're just aware that you're following delusional thoughts, and those guys are totally innocent, they're not going to do anything to you. They can't do anything to you. They're not capable of doing anything to you. It would have to come from your mind. It changes the whole situation because it does come from your mind. I mean, it obviously is going to change the whole situation. And, you'll demonstrate that to yourself too in time.
Boy, this has been so good.
I know. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for being there.
I love it. It's my favorite.
I know it is mine too.
Oh
Talking about this just
my
lights
gosh.
me up. Like,
Yeah, and even more than that is practicing it. You know,
yeah,
the talking about it really, it needs to be for a while. It's going to be more like entertainment. Some of you are still using it for entertainment. Wow, she's really fucking going for it. Uh, but it really comes down to that moment when you're willing to apply it.
yes.
That's what makes it really, really juicy.
Mm.
The
I,
talking about it is awesome too, because it puts you in association with the truth in relation to these random, ridiculous thoughts, right?
mm,
So that's awesome too. And it's kind of like a practice or a directional focus for the life, for the regular circumstances that trigger you. I
yeah.
don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm like doing block therapy the whole time I'm sitting here. And nose.
How can you do it?
Oh, well, it's the way my back is situated on this chair.
Well, I wanted to ask you how do you do it on your back? I mean, because you talked about it and I was like, wow, I wonder where you put the block.
Oh, well, I'll do a video for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do a video for I'll just make my next one. I don't know. We'll see, back in something. I really like the chest one. I really love, oh my gosh, to those of you women who don't have breast implants, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, but
They're
it
good.
hurts. So
Well, just don't go down so hard.
I
You can't go to a point where it hurts and you're whining. No,
right,
that's not
right. Well,
it.
I don't have implants, but I have very large breasts.
Yeah, that's okay. They
It,
can take it.
they can take it.
Yeah, they can totally take it. Is it you're conditioned to think that these things are all delicate and shit, and you're afraid of sensation. You're just afraid of sensation. So you gotta go easy on yourself. That's why if you're getting the full complete breath, like we're talking about, where you're exhaling all the way,
Yeah,
there's no way you're gonna go too far. But when your breath gets choppy, you got to pull back a little bit and less pressure. That's all.
I see. Okay.
Okay. You're not trying to keep yourself with the same pressure and make your breath calm. No. You pull back a little bit so your breath can be calm.
Okay.
That's
Right.
also humility.
Ah,
See, the arrogance wants to push harder
right,
than what's beneficial.
right.
It's only beneficial if you have that nice, relaxed breath. That's the only way it's going to be beneficial.
Okay. Yeah, because it definitely does get choppy and short when it hurts.
Okay, so pull back in those instances.
Okay.
So you're not going too far.
Okay.
Okay, it's the same thing with your emotional reactions. Okay, you don't have to try to push yourself. You're learning how to surrender. You're learning how to surrender right now.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's kind of like an energetic movement that you allow. And you'll start to, the belly is so big, because even in yoga they always say when you're doing a forward bend or any kind of pose, the release really comes in your belly. That's where the release really comes. It's from the belly, because that's where whenever you're doing, like, even if you're stretching your hamstrings, your fear of going to that release is being held. The fear is being held in the belly.
I think all fear is held in my belly, and that's why that's a place where I feel like I'm not good enough because my belly is bigger than most people's.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't worry about the size at all. Like the size is meaningless. What you wanna observe is those knots in there,
Yeah.
right? That's what you need to observe. That see if you're focused on the size, you're not going to be able to observe the tension.
Right.
See how
Right.
that's a distraction?
I
And you
see.
see how people work out in a distracted way,
By.
focusing on
Oh.
getting it into a certain shape
Uh-huh.
instead of releasing the tension. It's all
Mm,
just tension. And you know what? You're stoked that you're so sensitive. That's sensitivity. You're so sensitive to what you're thinking. Look at that.
yeah.
That's stokey. It's like, who cares how big that fucker is,
Right.
right? That's a distraction. You go pursue the thought about how big your tummy is and you're getting distracted and you're building more tension in the tummy. Isn't that
Right.
fun? Which is really in the mind.
Right.
But it's making your mental projection of your tummy bigger and bigger because you're building more tension in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's definitely seen.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, when you see it, when you see what the process is, then you can have more compassion for yourself within it. You see that?
Right.
Yeah, now when you get the thought, you're gonna know something's different when you get a thought about your belly being big.
Mm,
It's like, oh shit, that's what I use to make myself tense and make my belly bigger actually.
yes, that's exactly. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hmm.
We're a juicy combo.
Wow. Hmm. Beautiful.
We got it. We're seeing through this thing. As fearful as it may be, we're on it.
Why is why is it so fearful?
Well, because the void. We think that there's just a void beyond this. See, we thought we destroyed heaven. So with that gone, there's nothing beyond this, right? The fearful thought is that heaven's not available to us. We're not worthy of it. It's destroyed, whatever, however you want to look at it. It's all the same. That thought makes it seem like we either exist or we don't exist. And this life seems like the existence. So if we let go of this dreaming life, there's nothing else. There's nothing else but this. So that's a total annihilation. The ego, which we're identified with, is totally afraid of that.
Yeah, because it wants to exist at all costs.
That's right. Because the opposite, like I said, it's non-existent.
Right.
So you could see why it would be, and that's why I perceive this gripping. Because we're identified as this ego and we're gripping and holding this up.
Mm.
See? There is only reality. There is only our reality. And we're gonna see our reality through waking up in a dream and waking up from it. So, the Buddha said life is awakening. That's how it is. It just keeps on awakening. It's a process of awakening. And then at the end of it, you actually are awake from it. The end of dreaming, you actually dream of yourself waking up from it, and eventually it's gone. It just dissolves because it's not meaningful anymore. There's nothing to make it meaningful anymore.
Huh. So if it just dissolves, then there won't be anything.
Well, not like you conceive. See where the fear is. You see where the fear comes in. We can't conceive of what our reality is.
Right.
We cannot conceive of it because we tried to forget it. We haven't forgotten it completely. That's why we're able to think about it.
It'll resonate with somebody talking about it.
That's right. We have not forgot about it completely. We know.
Yeah.
It's just that we've covered it up with delusional thought. So this is a process of uncovering.
Right. Because the thoughts are the only thing that clouds it.
That's right. And we're believing in these thoughts and making it as if our reality is gone. And this is real. People say get real, and they're talking about this thing. It's like, what?
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. So holding all of your relationships too in an open space, like you may or may not be moved out of situations too. Just let everything be for awakening, and then you'll automatically express in the way you need to. So your expression when it comes from the ego is also exactly what you need. It's just that it's more of a learning experience than a directional experience. So your new directions come from acknowledging what it is and just applying truth, bringing all of the illusions to the truth, acknowledging that whenever you're upset, you're wrong about something. Really simple. And then making them all the same. It's funny, we talk so much and it's just like not anything. There's nothing there. It's just hilarious.
I know.
All right, guys. I'm getting ready to wind it down, but if you have something else, let's get
I'm
it.
all set.
You feeling good?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yay, thank you. Oh man, that was wonderful. Really fun to have you on. That was an hour and a half with just us.
Juicy.
Amazing. Super juicy. Yay. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you so much. Probably going to have a back blocking one coming up pretty soon. Now that we're clear that I can do all kinds of demonstrations, all the demonstrations that I want.
The arm one too. I can't imagine where you put the block on your
arm and back. Ah, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we're gonna do like upper back arms. How about that? And then we'll do lower back another time. That's a good one too.
Okay.
All right, you guys. I love you.
Love you.
Mahalo. Ahui ho. HopeJohnson.org.